Cohen here, Cohen on Content. And at this point, all things Digital Signage Federation had appeared. I got Alan Brawn. Alan, I'm following in his footsteps. Alan was Chairman Emeritus this past year, and now I've moved to that position, which is it's the old guy at the end of the table that doesn't say anything. But we observe. Alan, this is what, our 10th? How many shows?
It is our 10th. We started in the beginning.
San Francisco.
In the beginning, there was Phil and Alan.
I was saying to someone earlier that this show, I mean, this is just craziness, how big it's gotten. I'm thinking back to that day in San Francisco. But you know, I was remembering being at CES a long time ago in a land far away for personal computing. And then that moved and formed its own industry and its own trade show, Comdex. And then we had, and I had a booth for it, pre-recorded video, 20th Century Fox, and we had at CES. January and the summer one in Chicago. And then the Video Software Dealers Association started up,
right?
And that VSDA became its own trade show. Neither one of those, I don't believe, got this big, this fast with the value, the size, the value proposition of these companies, 3M, NEC, Peerless, as you look around, I mean, just nuts, Mitsubishi. And we've been here since then, since it started.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I guess it kind of dates us if you think about that. But there's a cool factor as to having been involved, you know, when this was fundamentally a tabletop show. And like you say, we're sitting here and we're looking at this gigantic NEC booth and Samsung booth, and we've got Intel involved, and we've got all of these software providers. Yeah. It's kind of like who's who of the corporate world of technologies and software. And it's really been an interesting trip that you and I have been on together, frankly, from day one. It's been fun.
The industry, they're now seeing, it's almost hard to find a company that does not use digital signage at this point. You know, there's all of the retailers,
yep.
All of the education firms, the universities, now even high schools. I went to get oil change, and there's a digital signage network in the waiting room at the oil change place. It's and it's one-stop shop here, the DSE. You know, you come to this show, and virtually you can see everything and do everything.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I love the historical and sometimes hysterical perspective that you and I both bring to this whole thing. You know, you talked about it all kind of began with retail, you know. Well, really all began with these great big outdoor signs in places like Las Vegas, since we're sitting here in Las Vegas. But the truth is, digital signage has become so much more than retail, so much more than just building brand. The last two projects that we've been involved in have been totally employee-facing networks. So this whole concept of digital signage and just directly connoting it to retail or something that contains an ad, it is so much more than that. When you and I started, it really started that way. So this has expanded, frankly, to be honest with you, Phil, further than I ever thought it would.
Oh, no, I'm going to say I knew this the whole time.
Oh!
I always knew it was going to be like this. What are you kidding?
Karnak the Magnificent.
Yeah, that's
right?
me.
The seer of all things. I got you.
Back to, I see Premier Mounts. I see, of course, Saddle Ranch content. Peerless mounts, screens, software. Over here, these guys out of Switzerland are doing audio signage. I got to find out what that's all about.
Oh, you and me both.
But they're there. They're here. I was talking to Spencer Graham earlier. He's talking about walking this show, which, by the way, I don't think is long enough now. I think that the size it's become.
Your mouth to God's ear. This needs to be a 3-day show for sure. Some shows need to be shorter, and we know who those shows are. But some shows need to be longer. And this one, because, and I think you would admit, because one of the things that you've done in
I admit to nothing. I never admit.
You will admit to this because one of your rants has always been, I want you to go into the booth. I mean, I could almost quote Phil Cohen. You say, I want you to go into the booth. They might try to sell you something, but that's okay. That's what they're here for. But you're going to educate yourself if you go into the booth, which leads me to an agreement on your comment that if you really want to go into as many booths as you really need to go into, then you probably ought to have it as a 3-day show. I agree.
We're wasting tape here because there's almost nothing that we haven't, as a team, told you before. You can go into the archives and find everything we're going to say. Because somebody said to me the other day, they brought up a topic, I started telling them a story, and I saw their eyes glaze over and realized I've told them this story probably 5 times. So my grandkids are now avoiding me.
Well, there's one more story that we need to tell, and I'll end it this way. And this is a story that you and I haven't told either one before. We were teaching the digital signage experts group the certification courses yesterday, and we've got 60 people, and I might add parenthetically, it's the first time we did a Spanish language version. We had 53 people in it, but that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is diversity. And not just diversity of the constituency that you kind of coined the word, but it's true, the different kind of constituents of different companies and different types of technologies and different levels of expertise. This has become a worldwide issue. I'm not kidding you. I had 5 continents represented in the Digital Signage Certified Experts course yesterday. I talked to teachers who were doing other seminars. They had anywhere from 3 to as many as 6 continents represented. So you talk about diversity. This is no longer about, Phil Cohen, Alan Brawn, the Digital Signage Federation here in the United States. And it's not just about Canada now. It's about Mexico. It's about Latin America. Diversity is absolutely my hot button for this event this year.
And we've got to be aware of it as we produce and distribute our products and our services, especially our content.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. All right, we've gone way over. We've used up a lot of tape. Alan and I have to go get a drink because it's our age.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you,
Bless
Alan.
you.
Be back. See you in a minute. You'll see me in a minute.